The music was still playing. Glasses clinked. Laughter echoed under golden lights. And right there, in the middle of the holiday party, Claire Whitmore signed the divorce papers. Her hands were shaking. Tears slid down her cheeks and dropped onto the ink. Someone laughed quietly. Someone whispered she knew her place. Her husband, Evan Whitmore, didn't look at her. He smirked. Confident. Cruel. The pen scratched its final line. Applause broke out, mocking, sharp. Then Claire stood up, and that's when the doors behind her slowly opened, revealing something no one in that room was ready to face. Claire Whitmore wasn't always invisible. Before the marriage, before the quiet dresses and careful smiles, she had been raised in a world of private jets and locked boardrooms, but no one here knew that. To them, she was just Evan's wife, the woman who didn't belong at his firm's holiday party, the woman whispered about by executives and their polished spouses. Evan Whitmore stood tall tonight, a rising star in corporate finance, loud, charming, untouchable. Beside him were witnesses, partners, clients, friends who benefited from his power. Claire's backstory was never asked about. Her sacrifices never noticed. She had supported Evan through failures, debt, and ambition, quietly. What they didn't see was her strength, the discipline she learned growing up, the silence that hides strategy. And most importantly, they didn't know who her father really was. The music kept playing. Soft jazz, crystal glasses clinking, laughter that felt rehearsed. Claire stood alone near the long marble table, the divorce papers still damp where her tears had fallen. Evan hadn't lowered his voice when he told her to sign. He wanted witnesses. He wanted her small. "Go on," he said, smiling for the room. "It's just paperwork." Someone filmed on their phone. Someone else whispered, "She's finally getting what she deserves." Claire signed. The pen shook, but her posture didn't. Evan leaned in. "You'll manage. I wired enough for a few months." He said it like charity. A partner laughed. "Guess love doesn't pay dividends." Claire looked up, calm, observing. Her fingers brushed her phone, already recording. Not the room. Evan. His voice. His words. Because while Evan thought this was a performance, Claire knew it was evidence. She slid the papers back. Done. Evan raised his glass. To new beginnings. Applause followed. Loud. Careless. That's when Claire spoke again, softly. "I'd like one thing clarified." The room slowed. Evan frowned. "Now?" "Yes, now." She tapped her screen. A timer stopped recording. "Clause 14, she said. "You waived spousal review." Evan scoffed. "You wouldn't understand it anyway." Claire met his eyes. For the first time there was no fear. "I understand it perfectly," she said. "Because my father wrote half the corporate governance laws you live by." Laughter broke out, until a man near the back dropped his glass, because he recognized the name Claire finally said, and the room realized this party was about to end. Silence fell hard. Not polite silence. Not curious silence. The kind that crashes into a room and breaks it. Evan's smile froze. "What did you just say?" Claire didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. She turned slowly so everyone could see her face. "My father," she repeated, "is Jonathan Heir." The name moved faster than sound. A collective inhale. A chair scraped back. Someone whispered, "No, not that Heir. Jonathan Heir. Billionaire industrialist. Philanthropist. The man whose foundations funded half the city's hospitals, and whose signature could move markets by morning." Evan laughed. Too loud, too fast. "That's sick," he said. "You expect us to believe—" The doors at the far end of the hall opened. Two men stepped in. Dark suits, calm faces. Behind them, an older man with silver hair and quiet authority. Jonathan Heir himself. Claire didn't turn around. She already knew. Her phone connected to the sound system. Evan's voice filled the room. "You're nothing without me. No one would ever believe you. Sign it, or I'll bury you." Every word echoed. Every guest heard it. Evan's face drained white. "Turn that off," he whispered. Jonathan Heir walked forward slowly, each step deliberate. He stopped beside Claire, not in front of her, Beside her, "My daughter warned me," he said, voice steady, deadly calm. "She said tonight would reveal who you really are." He looked at the papers, then at Evan. "You married her because you thought she was invisible," Jonathan continued. "You humiliated her because you believed power protects cruelty." He turned to the room. "To anyone who laughed, remember this moment." Security moved. Evan stammered. This is a misunderstanding." Jonathan raised one finger. The music stopped. The lights brightened. Phones lowered. "Effective immediately," Jonathan said. "Every partnership with Evan Cross Enterprises is terminated." Gasps rippled. Evan collapsed into a chair. Claire finally spoke again. Steady, clear. "I didn't come here to be saved," she said. "I came to be seen." And the room knew they had just witnessed a life split cleanly in two. The party ended without music. Guests left quietly, coats half-buttoned, eyes down, whispers unfinished. No laughter. No champagne, only consequence. By morning, the headlines were everywhere. Billionaire Heir exposes abusive spouse at holiday gala. Corporate executive dropped after audio reveal. Evan Cross didn't issue a statement. His board did it for him. He was removed. Contracts frozen. Accounts audited. Friends vanished. Power evaporated. Claire moved out that same night. Not into her father's mansion. Not into luxury. She chose a quiet apartment downtown. Sunlight, space, peace. Jonathan Hale respected that. "I raised you to choose your own ground," he told her. "Not hide behind mine." Weeks later, Claire stood in a small courtroom, not as a defendant, but a witness. She spoke calmly, clearly, without shaking. Other women came forward after her. Emails, messages, patterns. Justice didn't roar. It worked. Outside the courthouse, reporters waited. Claire stepped past them. No statement. No smile. Just dignity. Months later, her name appeared again, this time for something different. The Claire Hale Foundation. Support for women rebuilding after silent abuse. Legal aid, therapy, housing. She didn't fund it loudly. She built it carefully. At the first opening, a young woman hugged her and whispered, "You made me feel less alone." Claire smiled then, a real one, because power doesn't always look like wealth. Sometimes it looks like walking away from cruelty and refusing to become quiet ever again. They thought she was weak because she was gentle. They were wrong.